you're using the wrong settings in Madden and it's losing you games. But don't worry, I'm here to help you. We're gonna get this situated really quickly. So at the main menu, you go down to this gear icon. We're gonna go to edit settings, and this year you can pretty much edit everything you need for the most part in this main menu, which is great. Now we're just gonna scroll down and we're just gonna go in order. Now the first thing we're gonna come up on is coin toss. You want to set this to kick, and for your second choice you want to go against win. Now why do we set it up like this? Well, you want to kick because you want to get the ball in the second half. That's very important in these games. If you're down multiple scores, you get the ball in the second half, maybe you score quick, you're right back in the game. On the flip side, let's say you're up going into the second half, maybe you're up 7. Now you can slow the game down, milk a little clock, and then even if you only get a field goal, you're up multiple possessions, and that alone is going to make it so much harder for your opponent to come back and win. And the reason you want the against win for the second choice is if you lose the coin toss, you get to select if you want to go with the win or against it. Going against it means in the fourth quarter, you'll have the wind at your back, so that'll give you a couple extra yards potentially on a long game-winning field goal. Now for kick meter style, you want to use multimeter, especially if you're playing online. This is the one you want to practice with because that's the one you're going to be forced to use. If you're playing offline, then you can use whichever one you want. You can use classic, but if you're an online player, definitely get familiar with multimeter. Now we go down to the passing settings, and I'm not going to lie, this one is the most subjective. Now, placement and accuracy, I think, is the consensus best setting. Is it the best for you? That depends. But across the board, at the highest level, this is what most of the higher level players use. Now, if you're using this setting, you want to have your pass lead increase on small, and I personally think reticle speed at 7 is good. Some people bump it up to 10 to 12. I think 7 is where you need to be. That's going to work the best for everybody. Now, some people still love classic passing. Some people swear by this. I think it's outdated. I think before long they'll probably even remove this from the game. If it's what you're most comfortable with, if it's what you feel like you play the best with, then you want to use the setting that you feel the best with here. I do think placement and accuracy is better, but if this is what you're comfortable with, use it if you want to. And then you've got revamp passing. Now this one's interesting because it does give you more trajectory on the ball. It's a more sim style passing setting in my opinion. If you're a franchise player offline, you might like this one more because you can put more arc on the ball, drop the ball into the bucket a little bit better. If you're using this, I would leave your pass lead increase on small. I would, however, bump the reticle up to 15 or even max it out at 20. I think for this setting, you want the reticle speed a little bit higher. Now let's go down to catching. We have timing based catching this year. Now if you don't want to deal with it, just turn this off, and it'll just be the same as it has been any other year of the game. I think it's good to have this on though. So for offense, I like to put mine at 10 because I don't want to time catches that are 10 yards or less. I don't want to time flat routes or little halfback routes out of the backfield. But if it's intermediate, I can time possession catches just to guarantee a catch. And then if it's downfield or one-on-one, that's where it's most useful, trying to win a 50-50 ball. Now, if you don't get it perfect, you can still catch the ball. It'll still dice roll it if you get it in the yellow, but you want to try to get it in the green. Now, in defense, I like to put this also on about 10 yards because I find that timing-based catching on defense for interceptions, it's easier to time when it's 10 yards or further down the field, and that's where you're going to get a lot of chances for interceptions anyway. On the shorter yardage, it's hard to green like a 5-yard interception, so I'd rather just keep it like on default. So set this to 10. Hey, if you're getting value out of this video, I would just ask that you subscribe and turn the bell icon on. That way you're up to date with all the best Madden tips to help you win more games. It really helps support the channel a ton, and you can always unsub at any time. Now we move down to gameplay helpers. You definitely need to make sure that you're using these. Now ball hawk should be on by default. Make sure this is on. This will help you get more interceptions. It helps your CPU get more interceptions as well. Defensive heat seeker assist, I'm big on having this on. If you're really good in the open field as a user, if you are an elite open field tackler, you can put this off. You'd probably be better with this off if you're elite. Most people aren't. Most people need the help. This helps steer you towards the ball carrier a little bit more, and it's gonna help you make more tackles than with it off, unless again you're just elite. And for the window size, I like to bump it up to 200% because give me the most help I can. Open field tackling is very hard. If you're not, the top 1% of players, it's going to be challenging, so you want this to help assist you. Switch stick delay, leave this on slight. Even if you don't use the switch stick, I wouldn't turn this to none. I would turn it to slight because sometimes you could accidentally switch stick. If the offense snaps the ball and you're trying to make an adjustment, you might accidentally switch to a player, and you don't want that. The slight switch stick delay just gives you a few milliseconds where you have to wait before you can actually switch for the first time, so you won't accidentally get caught out of position. Defensive switch assist, I like to put this to on. This just helps that when you click onto a player, maybe you're going for a pick, it'll keep him running in the direction he was going, at least briefly, so you can't easily take him out of the play and just mess it up. And controlled play art is kind of a sneaky one a lot of people don't know about. I would put this on because when you're on defense and you're using a player, it always reminds you what your responsibility is. It shows you exactly where your zone is. It shows you what your run fit is, which means the gap that you need to be watching out if it's a run play. And this kind of just helps assist you with knowing where you got to be. Don't venture too far outside of your area. It's just a good learning tool. Now, if you really want to take your Madden game to the next level and learn from the best, I've partnered with Civil.gg. If you're tired of losing to random nonsense online, losing franchise games, or even just games against your friends, this is the place you need to be. In the last 2 years, 96% of members say they've won way more games simply by joining. And inside, you'll get the exact schemes, full offensive and defensive guides that the best players run. Use code ERIC for 30% off. Link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. Now we move over to the accessibility tab in the settings because there's some things in here that you definitely want to mess with as well. Enlarge on-field graphics. This is another sneaky one. This is off by default. I would turn this on if you're someone that has trouble reading the field, right? Trying to find the open receivers, because it enlarges their icons and it makes them just impossible to miss. And this, believe it or not, can help you make reads better if you struggle with that. It's also very good for timing-based catching because the meter is pretty small. This helps enlarge the meter so that it's easier to hit a green window. And then all the way at the bottom, this is another sneaky one. Force off motion blur. I put this on yes. Does this necessarily make the game better? No, but a lot of people feel that the game plays a little smoother and they can make plays easier with this off. It might be a placebo effect. I could be honest with you, I don't know. But a lot of people say that turning this off is for the better, so I turn it off. Also, I don't like how it looks, and a lot of people don't like how it looks anyway, so might as well just turn it off. Moving over to the visual feedback tab, this is another one that I'm very big on, and this is camera toggle. Now, there may be a few people out there that like to use multiple different camera angles during a game. Most of us don't do that though. I like to turn the camera toggle off. And that's because we've all been there where we accidentally change the camera. We hit the D-pad, we change it to a camera that we don't like, and then the ball is snapped, and we're all out of whack. If you turn camera toggle off, that can never happen. Just make sure that in your settings you have your preferred camera on offense and defense. Most people use standard. I do think some people might use wide. Majority of people use standard, but whatever your camera is that you use, if you're not someone that uses multiple ones during the game, set your camera here, turn your camera toggle off, because even just one play where you accidentally switch to the wrong camera, that could cost you a touchdown, and you don't need that happening. And now we want to tab over to coaching adjustments. Now this is new this year. You can set your coaching adjustments in the main menu setting, and they will carry over game to game, which is great. Now, with coaching adjustments, some of these are situational. You might need to turn them on for one game, turn them off for another game. You may need to turn them on just for a few plays, depending on what your opponent's doing. The ones I'm going to go over here are the ones that you should have set the same every game. So as we scroll down here, we want to first go to auto pass protection. You should put this on base. Empty is also a good base protection if you're facing people that are using a lot of D-line stunts against you. But for the majority of people, base is going to be where you want to be, because all the plays now have different protections. They have built-in slide protections, and that can cause you to get sacked and not understand why. Maybe you're sending your running back out on a route, but he was supposed to protect the backside because the play you picked had the line half sliding to the other side. Just set this to base. This will prevent you from taking unnecessary sacks. Ball carrier, a lot of people like putting this on conservative. Now it says it's just for the CPU and it's not for the human, so kind of take that for what it is, but this does prevent fumbles, so it's kind of subjective, I think, but conservative really could be the way to go here, because with your ball carrier you could still do juke moves and spin moves, because apparently it doesn't even affect your ball carrier anymore. But let's just say you throw the ball to the receiver and you don't take over for him right away, he gets hit, he fumbles. This could help prevent that. Auto flip defensive play call, this should be on by default. Don't turn this off if you're a beginner. Advanced players can turn this off depending on what they're doing on defense, but for most people you want to leave this on. This means that the strength of the defense will match the strength of the offense. So if you've got a slot receiver, your slot cornerback will be lined up with the slot receiver instead of on the opposite side. That's what you want. Cornerback matchups, you have to leave this on balance. I don't care if you want to do it by overall speed. That makes sense, it does. But in this game, sometimes it bugs out. And again, all it takes is one play that it bugs out and your guy is going to the opposite side of the field or the opposite receiver and you give up a touchdown. This is about preventing you from taking unnecessary losses. So leave it on balance. It's just going to be the most consistent thing and you're not going to give up dumb touchdowns. Defender aggression, this is a new one that I'm kind of playing around with. I kind of like putting this on aggressive. You can leave it on balance, of course, but aggressive is just going to help you get a little bit better pass rush, help them get off the blocks a little bit better. Yes, they'll get fatigued a little faster, so maybe you do have to rotate some guys there, but I like getting some extra pass rush, so this is one that I think is okay to turn on. Gap integrity, however, I think conservative is really good here because you don't want to give up unnecessary runs, and the run is pretty strong in these games lately, so having conservative gap integrity means you might not get the big play and blow it up in the backfield every time, but your defense should play more sound and you shouldn't give up just crazy open holes. These next 4 are crucial. Please pay attention. Option read key needs to be on conservative. Option pitch key needs to be on aggressive. Conservative will stop read options. If you don't have this on conservative and someone hits a read option with Lamar Jackson, he could be wide open to the house. Conservative, he'll get hit in the backfield. He'll lose yards. That right there will win you games because you can put people in long yardage situations when they try to break out a read option. Option pitch on aggressive means they're going to play the pitch man, the halfback, because when people run speed options, they want to pitch the ball. Now, people don't run options in Madden as much as they do in college football, so you don't have to worry about it as much, but just keep it on aggressive. This will be the best. And then RPO read and pass key, I like to put these on conservative so they'll play the passing portion of the RPO better, because when people run RPOs, 9 times out of 10 they're trying to throw bubble screens, they're trying to throw flat screens. This will help you better defend them. It's not perfect, but it's better than leaving it unbalanced. Strip ball and tackling, you leave this unbalanced. However, if it's late in the game, you're down. You're down 3 points. You're down a touchdown. Your opponent has the ball. It's late in the game. You desperately need to get the ball back. You can, in-game, pull up your coaching adjustments. You can click your right stick. You click it in like it's a button and it'll pull it up in game. You can put this on aggressive because it's just going to give you a chance to maybe get some fumbles. Your CPU will go for hit sticks and go for strips. Does it guarantee a fumble? No. But if you're in a situation where you're desperate, anything can help. But don't leave this on. Make sure that after that game's over, you put it back to balance because you don't want it like this all the time because you can get penalties and things like that. Now that you know about the best settings, you're halfway there. Now you need to know about the best plays and playbooks to absolutely dominate on offense, and you can check out that video right here on the screen.